Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we'll have more of the review series later today, but again, I wanted to pause just to talk about the 20.0 patch, because there was just so much that went down with it being launched into the game, so I'll get right into it. There was a lot of awesome, cool stuff about it. I had a really good time, and there's some negative stuff that I want to talk about that I'm not exactly thrilled about, and there's some lingering implications that some of this stuff will have, so I'll start off with the good, and then we'll get into the more of the bad, but I want to give you my honest review as I always do here. Praise the good, critique the bad. That's what we always do here. Whether Blizzard or whoever doesn't appreciate that, I feel like constructive criticism is always a good thing. So let's dive into it. And first, the big, giant, awesome, good thing that I was super happy about and loved was the introduction of Classic Mode. Classic Mode was so much fun. I had so much fun playing it. It got a little bit tiresome at times when I queued in at one point like 5 hunters in a row, because people really like to play Hunter. And from what my chat was telling me, it's one of the cheaper decks, and a lot of people don't have old cards, so it's facing a lot of Hunter. But when you log in, you can play Classic Mode right out the gate, play it with all your old cards, and for me, I have all the old stuff. It's like all golden. Like, I played Control Warrior a lot today. It was all golden. I didn't craft any of it. I'm just a freaking pig. But anyways, it's really fun. You get to play basically day one Hearthstone after its beta, when it's officially launched, so you don't have like 8-mana Pyroblast or Tinkmaster that can target. It's like that day one, but you still have like Starving Buzzard at 2 mana, Auctioneer at 5, Leroy's in every freaking deck at 4 mana. It's crazy, but I had so much fun playing. It's just refreshing to play a game of Hearthstone where you know for the most part what's in your opponent's deck in hand and play around it, unless they're not net decking. It's a good thing to be rewarded to not net deck, but there's like no creative buy. The big RNG swings is like summoning a Huffer, getting a Ragnarok shot, Sylvanas Brawl, and it's just refreshing. Not everyone's spamming cards every single turn, just generating stuff. So if you're looking for that break from like Hearthstone of just created by over and over, Classic is an amazing way to go. There is a negative. There's a couple negatives with Classic that I did note though. When I was trying to build my deck, if you look in the actual deck builder thing, you have to like highlight this tiny little square and then switch it to Classic Mode, or else you can't build your deck. I'm an old man basically, and I kept forgetting and struggling when I was building my decks to do this, so it's not the most intuitive. And like when you go into the play menu, it's the same thing there. Another negative I noticed is casual is now just one broad mode. If you want to play casual and wild or casual and standard, you can't do that anymore. Casual is just a casual mode where all cards are available. They never really said that was going to be a thing, but yeah, they basically took away a couple casual modes. If you care about that, that kind of sucks. So there's a couple negatives with that. I guess the other negative of it all is I didn't realize how many people don't have a lot of these old cards. Like, you want to play Classic, you have to get Classic packs to play your old Ragnarok, Sylvanas, all that. A lot of people have disenchanted it because the game's expensive, and I feel kind of bad that I'm getting to enjoy all this really cool Classic content where a lot of people won't be able to afford it, and that kind of sucks. So I really wish that Classic, at least in its introduction phase, like you got access to these cards for free, but it'll help when the core set comes in, because a lot of these Classic cards will be given to you. Like if you don't have BGH anymore, you'll get BGH in the core set. Even though it's 4, you'll be able to play it in Classic as 3, but yeah, that's also kind of a bummer. And I guess the last negative thing, if you want to call it that for Classic, is when you start off, everybody has a 2-star bonus, You want to try and hit Legend, it's going to take forever. I went on a 16 game win streak with Control Warrior. I'm not trying to flex, well, a little bit, but I went on this crazy streak and I only went from like bronze 5 to like silver 9. Like I barely ranked up. So if you're looking to hit Legend this month in Classic, I wouldn't bother unless you're the most diehard player ever. Just don't do it. But I imagine we'll get better star bonuses next month when it factors in at least how far we climbed in the top percentage of people. But yeah, I don't think I'll be getting Legend in the first few days of the season. Not at all. Also added 2 new bundles to the shop in Sylvanas. So if you haven't bought Sylvanas or been able to get her, you can get her in the game, I believe, with either money or gold. And then you have the new bundles. There's a gold classic pack bundle you can get. I think you get 5 golden classic packs plus a golden legendary, and then there's another bundle of like 20 classic packs and 2 legendaries. If you do want to buy one of these bundles, I highly recommend the non-golden one. It's pretty good value for the money. The golden packs just felt awful. I got like a bunch of rares and that was it, and you only get 5 packs, 1 legendary. It is like they are worth a lot more dust, but when you disenchant enchant them, it just doesn't equate very well. So if you are looking to spend money on classic packs to play classic, get the 20 pack one or none at all. Just don't bother with the golden one. Then there's some other stuff in the 20.0 patch. The user interface got updated quite a bit. You look at achievements, it shows your percentage of completion, all that stuff. That's really nice. They updated like your total wins to factor in arena before the achievement. So a lot of people recognize that they got like golden portraits or 1000 win portraits that they hadn't got, but that just factored in like old arena wins that they hadn't had factored in before. So I went from like having, for example, 1000 hunter wins before the patch to I have 1300 now, or I had just under 3000 priest wins and now I have over 3000. So if you played a good amount of arena, you might have unlocked some portraits, and that's why, and that's totally cool and totally fine. It also updated a lot of like these achievements to show your total wins. Like these are my total play wins. I've won over 30,000 games of like Hearthstone games in total in my history, which, my god, I played this game way too much, but that's really cool. Updated with like a new achievements from the new expansion that you can start unlocking right away, get XP towards the current rewards track, which is also kind of a negative, at least for me. I've already maxed out my rewards track, so if I want to redeem these achievements, I'm gonna have to wait until the next expansion and get that XP. It's not a big deal, but I like to flex with my achievement points a little bit. I'm really close to 20k, so a little bit of a negative there. And I guess the negative of the interface, it's just been a lot of bugs. Blizzard literally put out a patch before everything went live, like all the bugs that they were aware of with it going live. Like they knew there was a bunch of stuff. I've noticed some stuff that's just weird and finicky, but this is the largest patch they've ever made. They even said that, and considering adding a classic mode, all the stuff, like all the stuff behind the scenes with the core set, it's understandable. And also, if you like go into your progression and you knock off your total wins, if you have like thousands like I did, you basically unlock the entire core set golden for free right out the gate. You can't play with it yet unless you're playing duels. I think you can play with it in duels, but you unlock it and it's like a bunch of animations, and that's really sweet. So really cool stuff overall, really happy. Here's where the negative comes in, and the negative is focused around the actual modes that matter for the most part, and that's ladder. The unnerfs, at least for me, my honest opinion, have made standard unplayable. It's awful. Like Galakron Rogue and all these cards are just, decks are out of control. They're ridiculous. Like you have Secret Passage with unnerfed Galakron. It's just a nightmare. It's just, I don't even want to play it. I'm not going to play standard until the rotation. It's just brutal. It's just really brutal. But the biggest thing, and I'll probably do another video on this topic because I think it's a big one, is what Quest Rogue is doing to Wild. Quest Rogue for me, it's making me consider not playing the format anymore. Like legitimately not playing the format anymore. It's a deck I can't stand because yes, it does lose to aggro. It still has that problem, but it can beat it now. It's back to the unnerfed state where it can kind of high roll and beat it, and then it beats the living crap out of every other archetype ever in Hearthstone. That was always the problem, was the polarization of it. That the quest itself had the highest win rate ever for a turn one play, because a lot of people will just concede when they see that rogue quest, and that's back. Because, you know, Quest Rogue has all this new support, where you have a Mana Pirate that you can just complete the quest with Shadow Step. You have Raiding Party that can draw it, Captain's Parrot that can draw it. You have Swindle, you have Secret Passage, you have Derailed Coaster that just gives you a board of 5/5 rushes. It's just not fun, and this deck was nerfed for a reason, and it's really frustrating. But I'll leave it a little bit longer to evaluate its impact on the wild meta before I make like a big rant video about it. But there's probably a rant video coming, because I'm really unhappy that they would do this for the whole purpose of basically saying we don't need to balance wild because, well, we're just gonna unnerf everything, then we don't need to balance it. But if it's completely unbalanced and unfun to play, what's the point of the format? So I'd love to hear your guys' take on it. I'll factor that into the video as well. Maybe I'm totally out to lunch on this, but I'd love to hear your feedback on it. But overall, 20.0 patch, really cool, lots of interesting stuff. Check out classic mode. If you're an old school Hearthstone player and you haven't played in a long time and you have like some cards, come back and play. You're gonna have a good time. It's really fun to play your old stuff, and there's a lot of goodies to have to go with it, with all the updates and stuff. But the overall ladder experience for those standard and wild, it's a big yikes for me right now, so we'll have to wait and see. But again, we'll continue our review series later. If you want to check that out, should be the priest video later today. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.